Episode 97, Flaming Crap. You know, whenever I see a young couple's initials carved into a tree, I'm always intrigued by the amount of people who bring knives on dates with them. Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki G. I'm here to inform, entertain, and delight your ear holes with all things off-road for the next 10 minutes or so. Why 10 minutes? I almost made it the whole way on one breath. Why 10 minutes? I would say that's how long it's going to take for my corn dog to microwave, but these corn dogs Wendy bought really suck. I'm not digging the new corn dogs. You can listen to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Overcast, Breaker, CastBox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and on Spotify, which hosts this fine broadcast, which used to be Anchor, but now it's Spotify. But the one place you can never, ever hear us is on iHeartRadio or Pandora. If Pandora's a thing. I haven't even heard Pandora. And, you know, XM Radio doesn't carry us either. You can contact the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast at 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. That's 10minute offroad@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on our YouTube videos. I checked my Gmail account. I had 425 emails, all of them junk. Not one of them a real valid email. You can follow 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on all the trendy social media platforms, as long as that social media platform is nothing. I don't do Facebook with the podcast. I don't do Instagram with the podcast. Tried Rumble for a while. I don't do any of that. I just record this and post it on YouTube and hope that somebody will listen to it someday. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. I guess this is more of a therapeutic thing for me. And I'm going to add in my joke that you'll never see us on TikTok, although I believe TikTok is kind of winding down, going the way of Twitter or X or MySpace. Does anybody even do MySpace anymore? All right, now that all the legal mumbo-jumbo ramblings are out of the way and we're just about used my 10 minutes. I want to spend a few minutes talking about what I did this past weekend. I went to a Riggs Coffee and Campers event in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Actually in Duncan, which I've never heard of it, which is a little town somewhere near Spartanburg, Greenville, Spartanburg. Who knows? Anyhow, it's in South Carolina. Hosted by my friend Randy. He's been doing it for about a year now. I always tell him I'm going to come, and I never can. It just worked out that I had the weekend with nothing to do. And so I said, all right, I'm going to go down and check it out. And I did. It was good to see him. He had, I didn't stay very long. But he had a good turnout. About 15, 20 people came. I saw, he drives, although he does have an XJ, and that's how I met him, is when he was wheeling his XJ. He has a Honda Ridgeline that he built up, and he started a company selling off-road parts and accessories for Ridgelines. And he had a little bit of legal problem calling it the Ridgeline store, so he settled back on his campingrandy.com, his name website. If you have a Japanese vehicle and you want to off-road it, check out his website. He's got stuff that'll accessorize it, lift it, do whatever. It was good to see. I think I was the only Jeep there. One of the guys that worked at the place had an XJ, but everybody else had. Let's see, I saw a Defender there, a Suburban. I want to say a Silverado. Then the rest of them were Honda Pilots and Santa Fe's and, you know, stuff that you don't really see off-roading, although they do off-roading events. And he's going out next weekend to Hurricane Creek, which is not a very bad trail, but I'm curious to see. I'm tempted to go just to see how other vehicles travel some of the stuff. And if you're not familiar with Hurricane Creek, it's a road through the woods. It's kind of rutted and rough in some places, but it's not too bad. So I got to meet some cool people and view some campers. Camping Randy sells some off-road adventure trailers that I got to tell you look nicer than my house. Every gadget you could think about taking with you, you can. Talking about water, and one of the rigs can carry up to like 60 gallons of water and has like a 30-gallon gray water tank. And we got onto the discussion of black water, and there was no black water tank in this thing. It has what he called an incinerating toilet, and it takes no water, or very little water, I guess. But basically, when you get done doing your business, you press a button and it burns your poop. Yeah, two things that come to my mind is, what does it smell like? Because flaming shit just does not sound appealing. And two, does it have a safety cutoff switch so it doesn't turn on while you're sitting on it? Because I could just imagine my nads getting singed. Without being too gross, and I tried asking him some questions about it, and he seems to say that, it's normal. It's, smells no different than taking a dump in a regular toilet. All you got to do is empty the box every couple of poops or so. It reduces your poop to nothing but ash, and you can just dispose of ash however you normally would. Just spread it in your garden. But anyhow, he swears by it, and he says a lot of people are starting to put them in cabins and stuff that they don't want to run water to, or can't afford to run a septic tank in there. They just do it, or tiny homes. So, yeah, that's what my first time seeing, and I didn't even know an incinerating toilet existed till last week. So I suggest if you have some time, it's the third Saturday every month. Get online at campingrandy.com, or go to Facebook and look up Camping Randy, or Coffee Rigs Campers in South Carolina. It'll come up. Go to it. If anything, you get a free coffee and donut out of it. You'll meet some cool people, see some cool rigs, look at some nice adventure campers. While I was down that way, I took a drive to Gorges State Park, and on the other side of Gorges State Park is the Toxaway Game Lands. So I've always wanted to check them out. We planned a trip last year, but we ended up not going. They had a bear attack there, and I'm kind of glad we didn't go as for a camping trip, because there really isn't that much dispersed camping. They have a campground there that looks very nice and clean, and I would stay there. And there's nothing wrong with campsites, but when I'm hanging out with my friends and everything, we're kind of going for a little bit of privacy. And I just want to chill out, and be honest with you, after a hard week, I don't want to see people. Now, my friends discluded, I don't mind hanging out with my friends. I just want to go somewhere where I don't have to deal with people. But anyhow, Gorges State Park has a campground that you can stay at. I think they have two, but I only came across the one. I wasn't really looking for it. I was just driving through Gorges State Park. The entrance road to it is paved. They have a nice gift shop, museum type place that tells you about the gorge. And there's waterfalls and hiking trails and tells you about it. It's very nicely done. I hung out there for a little bit. As I said, I was just passing through to get to the game lands. The road's paved for about half a mile or so, and then you get to the road. I think it's Horse Pasture Road. Alright, so I'm going to cut it off here. I'm about out of time. I'll finish next week with my thoughts on the Toxaway game lands. Until next time, this is Nicky G saying, wheel what you got and be happy.